Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Great to see you all again.
We love you guys.
Yes. So I guess today we have a few things we want to talk about.
We do.
First one would be that if you are interested in getting a hold of Lin or myself, please reach out to us and schedule some time. Often we're getting really buried in mail nowadays, which is a great thing. So thank you all.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
And some great conversations recently with folks. So really appreciate it. The second thing is that we did have some technical difficulties not too long ago in getting emails in and out. And so if we haven't reached out to you and you've reached to us, then at this point, we had some technical difficulties, like I said, and some of the mails appear to have not made it back to your recipients. So if you don't hear from us, please don't take it personal. Reach back to us. We are very diligent on mail.
Yeah, if you don't hear back the same day, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
So a lot of the mails that I sent, like while I'm on a frenzy and I'm moving through my day, and I read every single mail, I read every single comment. But as I'm moving through my day, if I do it on my phone, I'm finding that for some reason it's not sending from my phone. So I've had 2 people reach out. They're like, I reached out, but I didn't get anything back. If that's you, if you don't hear back from us the same day, there's something wrong. There's a glitch. So please, remind, send back, whatever. I'm super vigilant about this stuff. But if you happen to fall through the cracks, you don't hear back the same day, hit us up.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Not a problem.
Yep.
A lot of you have been guided to us recently.
Yeah.
One of the definitely big things we wanted to talk about because there seems to be a trend. And we're kind of both aware of a trend when we start to see it with the twins. And a lot of these folks that have been sent to us recently, especially Lin, who does a lot of early contact with y'all, has been of a trend of there's something going on. And oftentimes there's a little, I guess I don't know how to say it, like not necessarily a taint, but there tends to be a lot of interference from either the karmic relationship or somebody through the karmic leveraging some other resources that are not exactly the most pleasant.
Yeah.
I've been having to do a lot of some very intense work with some of the twins that are in separation, and it's been it's great work, and it's been incredibly fulfilling, and I love it. It is. We want to kind of bring attention to it. We start to see a trend like that. There's definitely with some of the energetic shifts going on with the harvest moon approaching. I don't know if that has something to do with it, but we're seeing a really big uptick in the interference and the level of the interference and the frequency of it, meaning how often it's happening with you guys. You may or may not be even aware of some of these interferences. Yeah. Lin has really been perceptive. So if you're feeling a little off balance in what's going on with you and your twin, or you're getting some erratic behavior, we're seeing that a lot. Reach out and get a diagnosis with Lin. Let her do a little sleuthing and see, reach out, find what you need for information yourself. But by all means, but just be aware you can leverage us to help you clear that.
Yeah.
If you're sensing it, and what we're finding is a lot of folks aren't sensing it up front, and I guess it's because your closeness to your twin. Mm-hmm. And perhaps it has something to do with those forces being aware of all this and some understanding how to avoid it. I mean, I find a lot of times when I'm going in doing some of our work that I'm finding that I'm not sensing it right away, and Lin is.
Yeah. And
then as she shines the light on it, I start to uncover a lot more, unravel, and get a little deeper around that's where I really dive in with my instincts as a shaman, and I start to really sense and get in there and really start digging up, start sniffing around, so to speak, and hunting, and scare up a lot of the stuff that you're seeing and then confirm it. And so
yeah. Some of it's really fucking scary, by the way, but
very easy to deal with.
For him.
Yes.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. So just to be clear, I do. I get a lot of satisfaction out of it. And so I want to bring everyone's attention to that. It just seems to be an odd trend, and then maybe it's because it's getting close to Halloween, which is...
or it's time for twins.
Or it's getting time for us to be... Well, I definitely feel that.
Yeah.
So some of the signs, like I said, are erratic behavior in her twin, almost anger is what we're seeing.
Yep.
Some real darkness to them. this erratic behavior, their higher self saying they're not lining up if you're in contact with their higher self.
Yeah.
That they're actually trying to be involved. A lot of the women, divine feminines that are approaching us, their divine masculines' higher self is at their wits' end a lot of times.
Yeah.
And so they're getting a lot of direct, like, hey, you're doing your work with Archangel Michael, with Raphael, and you're trying to figure out, okay, I'm trying to heal these folks. If you're following Lin's guidance, then you're doing a lot of work at night in between, and you just start to notice that you're not feeling that sync between the two of you, and you know what I mean. And you start to feel that bond between the two of you. Either that's not weakened necessarily, but feel sickly or off. Pay attention.
Yeah, for sure.
We've seen a couple of times in recent times where the actual twin bond has been targeted, which is, to me, it's just such an affront. It's such an ugly thing to see. That it's gotten kind of nasty. But not to alarm everybody. I mean, it's not been the trend has been more entities approaching the karmic and working through that.
Yeah.
And I think you have some things you want to share with around the karmic and their interaction. If you want to do that now or later, but
sure.
But yeah, I think I've covered enough. I just want you all to be aware that I do that work, and with Lin's help, we get really accurate, and we're really quick and tactical, and we can turn around. If there's some energy clearing that needs to be done, that's easy enough. But if there's something a little more aggressive or a little more, you can't just heal with happy thoughts and positive energy, because that seems to be a trend, and I think that there's something to that with going on with twins and where we're at energetically as a group.
Yeah.
So anyways.
So what I've been noticing is that I work with a lot of the first time twins that come to us, because Jim his schedule is ridiculous right now. This is all gonna change in the next week or two. So seriously, just pay attention to how things kind of shift, because there's gonna be a lot more Jim available, which is amazing. But for now, and because I've been through this I've been through the shit of the shit, and the shittiest of the shit, honestly. With this whole twin process, I understand it to a T. I work with a lot of you guys, in the beginning, and I kind of try to do a kind of a screening thing with you. It's like, okay, this is where we're at. This is what's going on. I talk to your twin's higher self. Okay, what's going on? Is it PTSD? I'm hearing a lot of PTSD. I'm hearing a lot of really ingrained, super deep trauma. But a lot of the times, honestly, when you guys are coming to me and I'm hearing I don't know, I've been in separation forever, or, my twin's karmic is a nightmare, and all these things are happening. Sometimes I'm talking to the twin and I'm there's something there. There's something dark there.
Dead on with that every time.
Yep. And it's not me. It's just what I'm getting. Yeah. Right. Here's the thing. It's when somebody's we had a higher self the other day who was at the same time I was there's something there. And then when I'm actually talking to the twin's higher self and I'm talking to spirit, they'll walk me through and they'll show me exactly what's going on. So it's okay, I see this is what's going on with the karmic. The karmic is sending negative to the twin. This is why the twin's reacting this way. I'll even go in and talk to the karmic's higher self. And a lot of time the karmic's higher self is beside herself. And she's even looking for help. But in doing so, it's really interesting because I can see how everything unravels. And spirits will walk me down the path, and I'll get visions. I'll get, we had one the other day, which is really cool. We had a twin who, showed me this kind of image, was this is what's going on, and now they're trying to spread this to the family. And then what happens is I'm okay, we have an issue here. We need to get Jim involved. We set another appointment. We got Jim in, and Jim was okay, here's what I'm seeing. And it was the exact same image that I was shown for, the family infiltration. So it's it's almost it feels like an epidemic, honestly. It's there's so many twins who are I'm just stuck. I don't understand. And I'm like, no, there's something dark going on over here. And the problem is, I'm going to let Jim talk about it in a minute, but when dark gets involved, all your shit's off the table. Like everything stops, everything comes to a grinding, screeching halt. You might not know why. You might think your karma's just a bitch. You might think your twin is just flat. Your twin is just non-responsive, or he's like blah blah blah. But he's actually being controlled by this shit. And what's really interesting is or muted. I mean, it's scary as shit. Some of it. Anyway, there's different versions of it. There's different strains of it. Jen can talk about that in a minute. But what I'm trying to tell you is, if you're stuck, if you're like, I don't know what's going on, like I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do, or what do I need to do, or it doesn't matter. Like if I'm having a first session with you and I read it ahead of time, I'll know even if you're not a twin. I can be like, yeah, you're not even a twin. Number two, your higher self is telling me that here's what's going on. I mean, it's fucking clear as day. And so when I find out that there's something dark, or it could be something, it could be PTSD, and we'll deal with that, right? It could be, some kind of deep trauma. We'll deal with that, right? But really, a large majority of the time, I'm hearing there's some kind of dark thing that is attached to the karmic, that is working through your twin, that is putting everything on hold. And even worse than on hold, sometimes it can be dangerous,
Yeah.
So I kind of ranted, I'm sorry, but
no, it's right on point. I think the things are, if you just want to have even a checkup, like an annual, like, I think it's a great idea. It's like, I want to know, like, hey, how's our energetically, how are we doing? Are we healthy? Is there anything we can improve on, and get a reading on that? I mean, I think that's even healthy for you to do at least once a year. And then, like Lynn's saying, I mean, and as part of that is like, hey, look, check me out. How am I doing? Do we feel anything around us? And be aware. Like I said, I mean, there's a lot of things you can do to energetically protect yourselves. There's, it's different modalities for different people, whether that's like an energy barrier yourself, or you're using stones, or you're using a high frequency oil.
Or there's all these different levels of ores that we work with you on.
And that's the nice thing about what we do, is that we're not prescriptive down one set of things. Like, you will do things in a tradition of one thing or another. It's what intuitively what feels right to you, gravitate to that. Yeah. And it all is, I mean, pretty confirmed with a lot of research at this point for both of us, that it all seems to be effective in helping you and keeping you both healthy. And so I think that's a great trend right now, is, like I said, even if it's just a checkup and say, hey, look, this is where I'm thinking we're at, and find a reading and find some time and just get a checkup, and then and having some knowing is also some peace of mind. I know I would appreciate it at times, and so I hope you would. So so if you're stuck, if you're like, okay, I've been like immersed in the situation for so long, I'm not seeing progress, I'm getting frustrated, or it's been so many years, or whatever it is, reach out for sure, because it's really, really easy for us to determine what's going on. It could be, it could be trauma from your twin that even if you're in separation, we can gauge what's going on. And it's clear as day. Like, I'll be like, okay, I see this, boom, boom, boom. I'm like, Jim, hey. And he's like, I see the same thing. So how does that look? What I like about that too is that, because we work so well together in this stuff, is that, and we really try not to be like all group think about this. It's really, it's very independent. I mean, we're honest and open about it. Like, we're not always right. So when we see a synchronicity like that, and we see a cross confirmation between the two of us, it really does, like, it's like, okay, because it's like a self-check. We're human. We always question ourselves. We always do. It's kind of natural. All the time. And then, but when we get like this, it's like usually, and then we start unpacking that with you, and your dialogue and input as we do that is like a really nice, like, healthy way of approaching this, is that we start to take things apart and discuss them and talk about the options and what we're seeing and what we're feeling and what we're thinking, and then you add and contribute to that story that gives us clarity. Like, oh, we're seeing this kind of a thing, and then it's always from spirit. Sometimes it's really hard for you. You got to be careful. When I'm doing it, I know it's pretty much for you too. You have to be careful and try not to insert your ego into this and try and interpret. And so you as the receiver actually help us quite a bit. That's why it's nice you're there when we're doing it. But you get to see us in raw form. We're very honest and open about it.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun, actually, for me. I know for you too.
Yeah.
And our twin counterparts that are doing this with us it's just a hoot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, yeah, don't feel bad or don't feel, shame, any kind of feeling other than if you need something or you want to make sure, please. We don't mind at all. I mean, we love you all, and it really is a pleasure doing this stuff. So
yeah,
we keep harping on it because it seems to be a trend, and there's a lot of things going on right now with myself too. And so I've started, as you can tell from like tonight's video alone, I'm starting to speak up a lot more, and it's just because I have a lot going on, and I've had a lot more going on, and now it's a lot more clear.
He's just really close-minded about it, and not close-minded about it, but close-lipped about it.
Yeah.
Like, humble. But he's so fucking powerful, it's unbelievable, and I'm so glad you're opening your mouth. And I almost kind of made you do it, but...
You came close. Yeah, you had to push me in a lot of ways, so thank you.
No, but he's amazing. It's unbelievable. Like, he's been working with Archangel Michael for decades, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of the twins that are being drawn to us, like we have so many twins that are drawn to us. Like, I don't know, I was told I had to email you, or
yeah.
we even had a twin that was like, I got an email from you at 3:30 in the morning or 5:30 in the morning or something ridiculous. It was like super early, but neither of us sleep, so like we don't know time, whatever. But she was like, literally, Spirit woke her up and said, "You need to respond to this right now and make an appointment." We got her in like 2 days later. It was fucking urgent. It was one of the most intense, one of the scariest.
Don't scare everybody, but it was pretty intense. It was very raw.
There's a reason that Spirit was like shaking her out of her bed, going, "You need to fucking take care of this." So all I'm saying is, if you're stuck, if you're like, "Oh my gosh, we're not making progress," or "Oh my gosh, I don't know what's happening," or I mean, literally, you're just stuck. Reach out, because it's really easy for us to determine like what's going on. Is this like a block? Is this like a trauma? Is this a PTSD? Or is this some kind of dark that's honestly just taking control over the whole goddamn thing, and you don't even know it?
And what I like about the way you approach it, just having watched you now a lot more, like watch you in your sessions. So that's been nice. I've had some time lately to watch Lin at work. And so it's what I like about what your approach is that, and I don't find it with many other people in this space. And I know we work together and all this, but I'm going to say it anyways because I think people should know. If I went to you, I would walk away with some real insight into my problem, some things to work on, and a clear action plan of tools and things I can do to be better at it. And if I ask you, if I come back for a second session, I'll get a whole nother perspective on things with some new clarity added to it, a new action plan based on some changes that I've had and things I've progressed on, and a whole new tool bag of things. And I've had that tool bag for the rest of my life. Should I ever need to go back? I mean, I'm working on this with you because I've recently kind of awakened into some things. So
I cry.
Very much so.
Yeah. Final union. Right here.
And so, yes, very happy
Notice
man.
the glow.
Yes. Okay.
No, it's such a great thing.
It is. But all I'm trying to say is that I have had to now pay attention.
Yeah,
I've been listening.
Just kind of came early to him and came easy to him, and we're gonna do a whole video on that because he's a little bit special and he got pushed to the front of the line. And don't burn his house down. Don't bitch and say it's not fair. He's had to pay for it before, but anyway.
Yeah, so I've had to pay attention. Is all I'm saying.
He's paying.
And because of that, I've had to learn from you. Like I would listen and I'd support you all, truly would. But it was like, oh, I'm not in the group. I didn't think I was. So
he didn't think he was a twin.
Yeah, I know. Self-talk all of it. Yep. So
doubt.
Yeah. Yep. My swan, which is one of my spirit guides, we definitely, anyway, I had a lot of lessons to learn about.
I told you so.
Yes, you did.
Anyway.
Repeatedly.
I get to do that every day for the rest of my life.
Yep.
Yeah. So they're like final union.
I know. I'm all
They're in
blow
it.
with. She's the best thing, of course. You know.
Yes.
I know.
It's what it is.
It's hard.
Beautiful. It's beautiful, but it's possible because he did it.
Yeah, I'm next week. I meet her next week.
The sap machine. Yes, he's a mush ball. It's ridiculous.
Yep.
But anyway, all your mush aside, what were you trying to say?
No, I was just telling folks about, like, I can't stress enough, like, I wanted to, as we came into this today, is that one of the things I've really noticed, and I know it's hard because you're usually speaking so strongly about in your path and with trying to help twins, and it's not even like a sales thing. It's like, wow, like in 5 minutes of conversation with you today about some of the principles, I asked for some clarity, and it was just bam, bam, bam. I mean, you just this, even if I wasn't a twin and I was having some problems in a relationship, I'd have practical relationship tools out of this. It's just comforting to know that I could come to you and say, I have this problem. What do I do? And you're like, oh, here you go. Here's your prescription. Go do this, and this. Are you this? Are you that? Then and you consult with me. You're not just like, oh yeah, blah, 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 blah. It's like, oh, you're listening to a person and you go with what your gut's telling you and what they're feeding back to you. What I was feeding back to you, for example, like, I don't understand this. And you're like, oh, this is this. And you didn't just spout off like, do this. You're like, here's why. And this is what you're doing. And this is the effect. And I've listened to you do it to other twins. And it's like, so as a twin, you're like, oh, it's important that I pay attention to cutting the cords. It's not just cutting the cords and I get out my scissors or bring Michael in to cut them. Okay. It's, why am I doing that? Oh, that adds to some long-term support. It adds to health of that relationship. It removes some negativity from the person. And that benefit, you walk away and you're like, oh my God, I totally get this. So I walk away like, this landscape in the twin space it's muddy. It's just a bunch of people talking a lot of times, and that's like, shit, okay, great. My ass is on fire. I'm all excited, and the world's smiling, and what the hell do I do about it?
Twin crack. He's like, I'm a unicorn. He's flying around the room.
Yeah, I'm a unisquirrel, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, he is.
I
love it.
So there you go. I spoke more than I probably have in all the videos combined so far.
Right. And oh my God, this is like what's to come, because fuck, he's immensely powerful and he has so much to say.
Oh, thank you. You're amazing to work with. So I know this is like crazy fun, but you're really good at this stuff. So
thank you.
Yeah.
But here's what's great. Okay. So twins come to me and I'm like, oh, like it could be this and this and this. Within like, even before I meet with them, I'm like, okay, I meet with the twins higher self. And I'm like, ugh. And spirit, and I'm like, boom, boom, boom. Like you have something dark, or you have PTSD, or you have this, or you have that, or you have trauma. Or the twins higher self is like, she triggers me this way and I don't want to ever talk to her again. Like it's very concrete shit. It's like, I totally get what's going on. I even had one last week where it was like, this isn't even a twin. She isn't. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, but you still gave her great advice. Oh my God.
No, she needed it. Like
I know, but it was like, even if it was just, like I said, even if it was just a relationship, that was amazingly good advice for her.
She's a soulmate.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, and she was great, and we loved her. So yeah. Okay. So we really want to help everybody. And so, like, if you're not a twin, you can come to us, and I totally love to work with you people.
Yeah.
Everybody, for sure. But here's what's great. So when I'm like talking to you guys, and I'm like, oh shit, your karmic is sending spells to your connection, or you have something going on in this dark thing, or it's like certain number of things. Like I can analyze this shit pretty quick, and I'm like, let's get Jim on this shit. And here's what's cool. Jim is the fucking warrior, like you would not believe. I mean, we get him on a call. He's talking to spirits. He's talking to Archangel Michael. He's accessing his, I don't even know how to describe it, but it's so fucking powerful. And then the entire session turns into, here's how we're going to kick this shit. Here's how we're going to get rid of that dark, whether it's demonic, whether it's an entity, whether it's dark, whether it's weird. I mean, like this really extreme one the other day. It was, the connection is dying. Literally the connection is starting to fade and die, and there's hours left because there are people that have been sending spells towards this connection in a way that has fucked shit up so fucking bad that it's becoming kind of fatal for some people. I don't know. Anyway, so it's like we bring Jim in and it becomes an entire new prescription of, here's what we're going to do about that. Like, don't worry about it. We've had twins come before us before that are like, she's like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with my twin. The higher self is like, I can't get near her with a 10-foot pole because there is so much negative shit on her that I don't want to expose her. Can you please help? And then we find out that she's got some demonic thing that is like legitimately almost driving her mad. And I really want Jim to talk about like what happens, because I bring all these to him and I'm like, this is our warrior. This is our solution. I mean, I'm fucking not kidding. It's unbelievable.
Well, I've always thought of myself more as a healer, but in the background been a secret kind of warrior type. But yeah, it's kind of a lot more that's come to light recently, and so I'm kind of stepping out in a lot of ways with my twin stuff and with my connections to what I do. Yeah. And so I do blend Reiki and shamanism together, and I do it in a rather unique way. I am still learning to talk about it out in the public a lot more, but the root of what we do is I do connect with spirit quite a bit, with my own guides, with my spirit animals. I'm very strongly tied with them. And now that I have a twin in my life, my connections are even higher now. And so where I had a lot of blocks, and what I see is I'm clairsentient, so primarily. And then now that I have this connection that's established recently, and I'm still downloading and figuring out what's going on. I'm still in this really high state. This is the calmest I've been in 8 days. So this is kind of nice to settle down a little bit today. So it is what Lin's describing is that there's, I can be just a heal. Like I could go into just to do a Reiki healing and clearing, and that sometimes is great for folks. We find like when we're doing these diagnoses and it's a little more serious, there's all kinds of techniques that shaman have at our disposal, and that involves sometimes attached entities to you, be that unascended souls, be that things of a much darker intent. It's not stuff to screw around when we get up in the higher side of things, and because of some of my upbringing in this path, I tend to be a little more aggressive than most. I tend to be I try very hard to understand the situation and go in. When I go in, I tend to go in in a spirit form, and then tend to scout and understand and diagnose and think and converse with my spirit guides and archangels, whatever resources are available, and really try to diagnose and understand what the situation is that's in front of us. And I do that a lot more in real time today than I ever have. I usually had to do what's called journeying, which is a shamanistic technique. And it's much richer when I do it through spirit form and actually in doing my journey work. So I tend to do that in isolation. But so I'll go in and I'll try to diagnose, figure out the problem, and if it's one thing or another, then I can adjust and essentially address if it's an unascended soul, somebody needs help crossing over, that's angry. I tend to really understand that's a shamanistic upbringing, is that you try to understand it. It doesn't, this really negative entities are not necessarily as common, but tend to be more so around twins.
Right.
And
we're a
so
beacon of light, and so we bring in all the bugs and the nasty shit because we're broadcasting this light, and we're in the middle of a spiritual war.
Well, and a lot of people that we're finding just don't understand. I mean, like, I am still like awakening to some of my abilities since I've met my twin, and so you're like, not only a shining beacon, but you're a target. You don't understand how to shield yourself. I seriously was leaking energy everywhere for 4 or 5 days, and I know my twin was having a hell of a hard time because we were talking a lot. I was driving her nuts with all my energy coming at her. And so I know that this person you're talking about, we recently helped, she was like so strong and had no idea.
Oh, wow.
And her father was actually talking to me a lot about what he was trying to do to help protect her.
But where is his father?
Her father had passed away, and he would not ascend until he was certain that she was safe. So she was getting a lot of back from him, and also from this really negative entity that was manipulating her and making her just having a really, getting in her head, getting in his face. It was terrible. But it was once I understood it, there's probably people that are better at it than I am in some ways, but I got to it in one day. So it's I guess that kind of answers that. That's like going down from one end of the spectrum to the other, and it's interesting to see the different ways, different things in different ways, different types of things we've run into. Like I said, recently we've seen some of the most negative things I've ever seen, which was attacking I can see the twin relationship most of the time when you're connected, when the two of you have met. I really see it, and this last one was really dark, and it was almost like it's a living feeling when I feel it. So it's like plant-based feels, and this entity was eating it essentially and making it sick. So never seen that, and it was very vile. So we dealt with tonight.
So if you have something like this going on and we're talking to you about it, we'll usually say, okay, this is what we see going on. And then, Jim, how do you remedy it? What do you do?
For which part?
Okay, so we have somebody with a dark entity, or somebody with a demon, or somebody that's got a karmic. We have a lot. If your twin's karmic is, okay, there's a lot of dark coming from karmics.
It's an interesting thing.
Yeah.
It's new.
Well,
newer, or maybe
no, it happened to me. Let's be honest.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it happened to me. It was like almost 2 years ago. My twin was married at the time, and his karmic had hired somebody to basically, there's this woman in his life. His attention is towards her. What are you going to do about it? And the lady who read it could see the twin energy and attacked it. So she sent an entity to our twin energy. Then she taught the karmic how to do it. So both of them were doing it every single night. And it was fucking brutal. It was fucking brutal. A lot of karmics are doing this because, they feel that they feel the twin slipping away, your twin slipping away. There's nothing they can do about it. They feel that control. They've got that karmic, pull to, control to, damage control. What can I do to save this? And a lot of them are resorting to some really fucked up shit.
Yeah. Operating from a place of fear.
Yeah.
And just, it's a mess.
Like mine did. And it was bad. It was really fucking bad. And then, I ended up getting rid of it. It took me like a month or two to get rid of it. But then I got kind of complacent, and I'm like, everything's good. And it was like the best we ever were. It came back, and it came back really fucking strong, and it took me down. So this isn't shit to fuck with, right? If I wouldn't have really good people on my side that would have brought that to my attention, I never would have known. I would have just been drug on forever with, this delay, or he's just flat, or he's just not engaged, or he's engaged some of the time, and we text or we hang out. I mean, it just wasn't like this grasp of I don't see anything moving. It just was flat. It was, I don't know what's wrong with him. He seems to be really flat. But I could see, when I got rid of that thing, it was like the happiest we ever were. And then the fucking thing came back and it was like 180. He's like, oh, I gotta hang with my fam. And I'm like,
what?
That fucking thing, right? So here's the thing. If you guys are like if you're like, I'm stuck. I don't know what's happening. Like, I'm being blocked by the family. I'm being blocked by the karmic. There's a karmic involved, or it's for whatever reason. If you're like, I can't get out of where I'm at. Talk to us. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. I sound like a man. I'm so sorry. Yeah. But no, really, like, talk to us, because it's really easy for me to terminate, like, boom, boom, boom. Here's what it is. And then, Jim, fix it.
All right. I'm definitely up for it. Keep your checkup annually. I feel like a PSA.
Not annually, though. Just
not annually.
Not annually or annually.
Oh, yeah, annually, not a good thing. Mm-hmm. No. Twin cracks is the best thing. You don't need that. Nope. Keeps that all good. Nice and regular. No, thank you.
Keep your connection healthy. Right? Anyway, that's all I'm saying, is if you're stuck, just reach out, okay? And we will work with you. It doesn't mean you have to do a full-blown session. It doesn't mean you have to, like, throw yourself under the bus. We really want to help you guys, honestly. And so we will figure something out. Like, if you're low on funds, or you're like, I don't need a whole hour, or like, it doesn't take me very long. Honestly, it doesn't take me very long. You can look at it and go, something's not cool. Like, I literally had a twin the other day. I had a session with her, and I talked to the twin's higher self within like 30 seconds. The twin's higher self and myself were both like, there's something there. And then I got the whole fucking scoop all the way through. So don't be shy about reaching out. We really, really want you guys to have everything possible. Like, we want you to have all the resources available to you. If there's any kind of blocks, barriers, we'll do whatever we can to move them out of the way, because our whole mission, I'm getting goosebumps. Our whole mission, our whole point is that we really want to help you guys, like, progress.
That's absolutely right on. So thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
So that is absolutely why we started this whole thing.
Yep.
So yeah.
It's kind of heavy, but
it's okay. We needed to do this because it's just been a trend. And we agreed before we met and talked. We wanted to do this video for today. We got some lighter things to do soon.
The next one's going to be super light and cool. This one, hey, I have something light. I have a silver, like the lighting at the silver lining at the end of the tunnel, or
whatever the light is.
What the fuck ever. Yeah. Doesn't matter.
So it's not a trade, right? Yep. What's at the end of the tunnel, Lynn?
You don't have to see them. We do.
Well, that's a good point.
They're really gross looking.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
And so fun to get rid of. I'm just saying.
He enjoys this shit. Him and Michael, they like to enjoy this shit. But no, you don't want to see this shit. So let us take care of it. Just reach out. And if it's not that, it could be something else. But either way, we can be like, this is the direction. So, here we go.
All right. Well, hey, everybody.
Yeah.
It's gone fast. It's good talking to you all. You have a good night.
Bye.
Talk to you soon.